All right, welcome everybody. Good to see you. Wait, I know you're over there. I can see you there. All right. So, big ups, big ups. I got to give some props to a couple of new students of mine and a couple friends. But first, I want to tell you that I'm about to show you what's going on right now in the foreclosure investing market. First thing I want to say is ethical investors only, please. Okay? If you're a shark, if you want to take advantage of people, you can just go on, take off. This won't work for you anyway. So when I tell you about students who have been successful in foreclosure investing, when I'm sharing examples, when I'm telling you how to do it, I want you to know that if you intend to use this to take advantage of people, it's not going to work, because this is all based on helping people. So if you are not willing to help people, or you don't want to help people, great, you can go and get the hell on, because I'm here to help, and I get paid well to help people. I am not here to steal people's houses. I am not here to, defraud people, trick them, whatever. I'm here to help people and get paid well to do it. That said, while everybody's still showing up, good to see you. 30 people, 29 people. That's pretty awesome. If you guys have anything you want to say, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer whatever questions you have. I do have, some pretty significant notes here of the topics I want to cover. So I'm going to jump right in. But if you have anything you want to ask, if you have anything you want to say, feel free to pop it in the comments. I will do my best to answer it. I am not a team. I am not a we. There is a we. The rest of we is not here. Okay, so we are in the the royal we, just me. I'm here in the office right now doing this for you as a favor. So if I get a little overwhelmed, I may not be able to do everything for everyone, but I will definitely try to get your questions answered. If I can't get it answered in this video, I will do it on the when the video comes up. I'll answer it on the page, and you will get updated. So whatever questions you got for me, go ahead and pop them in the comments. Good to see you guys. 32 people. That's awesome. Especially since I've been live here for like 30 seconds. So first things first, Trina. I want to say big ups to Trina. Trina got 4 deals closed during the shutdown. March, April, and then the closings happened in May. Phenomenal, Trina. Crushing it. Even better, I think, sort of the icing on the cake, is that she did it when everybody else was saying it was impossible. I know, maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only person here who's a glutton for punishment. Let me move that down just a hair. But I take some kind of super satisfaction in being able to do the things that other people say can't be done, right? A little Smoking the Bandit action, right? We're going to do what they say can't be done. But Trina is a hustler. Trina got it done. She got them to and through the closing table. We've had people call in the office and, saying things like, how can I do real estate investing now? How can I do real estate, as an industry is closed? It is not true. We've been open the whole time. Real estate is essential and available in all 50 states. Has been the whole time. As we go through the phase rollout, it's getting better and better and better, more active, more sellers, more motivation in our sellers. Man, our motivated seller numbers are off the charts. We're getting 2, 3, 4 times the response we've been getting, and the level of motivation that those sellers have is creeping up. As they're starting to see, no amount of government money is going to fix not being good at being a landlord, right? No amount of government money is going to fix. Some percentage of people are now moving back in with their family, with their older parents, with their, their kids moving in with their parents, and sometimes those kids are 45 and the parents are 70, right? But Trina got it done. 4 closings, so big props to Trina. Got it done here in my hometown, which is amazing because we're hyper competitive. Here in Wellington, Florida, South Florida is one of the most competitive, expensive markets on earth, and Trina got it done. So I love to hear that. Another thing, Leroy. Talked about Leroy last Monday when I was talking about auction deals and the mistakes you don't want to make, the 3 big things you need to know to not ruin everything when you do your auction deals. Leroy moved away from those auction deals that he was struggling with all the shenanigans and the bidders premiums and all the ways they jack you for fees and all that stuff. And Leroy immediately got it done, worked directly with a private seller. He's working on a deal now that he should be able to get for something less than $50,000, like $25,000 to $45,000. Standing request from the seller, by the way. And after it's all said and done, it's going to be worth somewhere between $120,000 and $168,000. I know that's a big spread, but the reason why there's a big spread is because we've already got tons of comps at 120, and he's just waiting on a couple of those higher sales in the 160 range to verify his amazing buy at $45,000. Okay, so he's picking it up for $45. Needs less than $10,000 to work. Should be worth $120, as much as $160. or more, depending on what the 2 more recent sales come in at. So Leroy, you're crushing it. Congratulations. Big props to Leroy. Also getting it done during the shutdown. Again, you guys out there are complaining. I'm telling you right now, it's a big grab. Here's the thing. The institutional buyers are out of business. Our big up competition, our higher up competition, our corporate competition, all those big inventory buyers who buy 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars at a crack worth of houses, they're gone. Their financing is dead. It's not going to last forever that us, the little guys, are the number one choice for our motivated sellers. But it is happening right now. How long will it last? I don't know. It'll last until liquidity issues go away. Could be a month, could be 10 months, could be a year, could be 1,000. I don't know. But while the getting's good, we are the only game in town, us ethical investors. So let's get to the big news. Foreclosures. Foreclosures are set to skyrocket. That is not necessarily good news. The good news, though, is for us as ethical investors, us who can help the problem. See, there's a lot of investors who just sit back and wait. You know, what do they say? Till the blood is running in the streets. I don't do that. I don't want blood to run in the streets. I don't want people to have hardships in their life. I don't want things to get so bad that I can't buy milk for my kids. Okay? I'm not looking for a financial apocalypse. I don't want that. I don't want blood running anywhere, to be honest. I like to keep all the blood on the inside of people. Okay? However, a lot of those institutional buyers are sharks. They smell blood in the water, and that's when they gather, right? They don't help people avoid foreclosure. They don't help people save some of their equity, fix their credit, avoid the problems of foreclosure. They don't do any of that. They sit on their butts in an office in the air conditioning, dreaming up ways to con people into investing in their stupid fund. And then once they get ridiculous amounts of money that they're paying 2, 3, 4, did you know that the average rate of return on those funds is 4.67% over the last 20 years? 20 years, 4.67% per year. Come on. We as ethical investors, we solve problems. We use OPM if any money is required. Sometimes it's brain power, right? Sometimes we know the solution. Sometimes we are the solution, all right? Either way, we as ethical investors stop people from going into foreclosure. We help people keep from losing their homes. We're working with the same people, but we're solving the problem that the institutional buyers are ignoring, all right? So we ethical investors, here's the stats. Over 40 million people now are officially filed for unemployment. That's just the filings, okay? That raises the unemployment rate of people who want to work in the United States to 22.5%. That's almost a quarter of everyone who wants to work can't. Their jobs are just closed, basically. Also that doesn't include all necessarily the service people, the self-employed, the contract employees whose hours have been cut so much. They're not technically unemployed. They're just not making enough to survive, right? I know I just talked to an ER doctor yesterday, a friend of a friend, and he said, reported to me, he's like, I had to furlough 50% of my people. Furloughed, zero work. They're out of work. He said, but the other 50%, they're the contract employees. They're the people who come in and do jobs for us. They're at 50 hours a month. You can't live on 50 hours a month, right? That's a good week for some people to work 50 hours, right? So they're down to, 25, 30% of their normal hours, normal pay. They're not unemployed, but they're not in that 40 million stat. Here's the key about that 40 million. If even 1%, there's about 600 to 700,000 foreclosures in an entire year, okay? If over the next 12 months, even 1% of that 40 million goes into foreclosure, and it could be way more than 1%. In fact, we'll talk about that in a second. But every 1% adds 400,000. 400,000 more foreclosures to the pot. Well, the pot usually only has 600,000 in an entire year. That means for every 1% of those 40 million who go into foreclosure, we're getting like 70%, 2/3, so 67% more foreclosures, okay? So if it goes up by 2%, that's 133% more foreclosures. It means foreclosures will more than double if even 2% of those people who lost their jobs, that 40 million unemployed, that 22.5%, okay? If 98 of them figure it out and 2 of them don't, okay, per 100, foreclosures will more than double. Most people think it's going to be 6 to 12%. I don't know where they come up with those stats. I guess they've looked at previous financial problems. But listen, if 6% of 40 million people go into foreclosure, foreclosures are going to be up 5 times. Okay? That's just the math of it, right? If each one is 2/3 or whatever, then 6 times that, okay? The other thing is, they'll go up 4 times plus the 600,000 already were. So anyway, foreclosures are set to very, very much surge. The other thing is, there's a huge amount currently already standing in the market. Not of new foreclosures, not of new people coming down the pipe, all right? But remember, foreclosures have been suspended since March, okay? Which means if a bank filed foreclosure on somebody in December, January, or February and didn't get it done by the end of February, in other words, didn't actually move the people out of the house, they weren't allowed to foreclose on them in March or April or May. Now we're in June. All of that demand is stacking up and we're opening up. So now all of those sellers have had basically time to ruminate on it, time to say, what's my next step? Hey, what am I going to do after this? Where am I going to live? What am I going to do? I know I'm not paying the bank. I know the piper's piping right now. I got to go. What am I going to do? And so what that's done is not only has it increased the number, right? The number has more than doubled. Why? Because they weren't able to foreclose on anybody before. Okay? Some places still can't. So those people are still in the house, still not paying the bank, and the bank knows they're going to foreclose on them. They've got the paperwork ready. It's just sitting on the desk at the attorney's office, right? Waiting for those people to, be opened up, basically, so that the bank can officially start the cleanup process. Now, is the government going to bail them out? Well, they're going to try. They also tried in 2007. They also tried in 2008. They tried in 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012. And do you know who actually cleaned it up? Usins, ethical investors. Actual people who go out and buy houses, solve problems, and make a boatload of money. Not institutional buyers. They can't solve the problem because they can't buy them until they're already foreclosed on. They don't work one-on-one with people. They don't help people. They're not in the helping people business. They're in the blood in the streets business. And that's why when they went out of business, I was singing, nah, 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 hey, could have happened to a nice bunch of guys. I hope you all rot somewhere. Because if you want to get involved and not help anybody, you can screw off. I'm here to help. That's what I'm saying. So what we do is help people, okay? So we stop people from going into foreclosure. And because of that, this huge boom in foreclosures has eliminated all of our competition. Because even the institutional guys are gone right now. They don't have funding. Their funding sources are gone. They do not have anyone to borrow millions of dollars from to buy big lists of properties, okay? So they're out of the business completely. They also can't run their offices because they can't have 20, 30 people in an office building right now, okay? So we're the only game in town for our sellers, which has increased their motivation because there's not as many places to go to, okay? We are a better solution for them now than ever. We were always a better solution, but now they're aware of it, okay? Also, that pent-up demand means twice as many people are further down the funnel because they haven't been going into the foreclosure process. Does that make sense? So now we've got twice as many people we can help, and we're the only game in town. It's like, our motivated seller numbers are off the charts. And now that they're, people are having to kind of come, pull their head out of the sand and stuff, it's awesome. And they need our help, okay? So likely 10% or more of that 40 million number is going to go into foreclosure. It's going to be the biggest boom in foreclosure. It's already starting, by the way. The numbers of motivated sellers are, we're getting like 300% better response rate than we got before. In other words, if we got 4 to 10% of people to call us before, we're getting 12 to 30%. I mean, I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. There's so many motivated sellers out there right now because there's a lot of people who had that wake-up call, right? The splash of cold water in their face that this landlording thing isn't working. This, this job isn't working. Your income's not stable like you thought it was. We've got a lot of people starting their real estate businesses because they finally come to the realization that I had many, many years ago that your job is not forever. There's somebody who works in your business whose job it is to pay you as little as possible to keep you from quitting. That's called your manager, right? Unless you are the manager, then you've got a you're a manager, but you've got a boss doing exactly the same thing to you. That's no kind of way to live, right? Anyway, between that 40 million unemployed, moving down the ladder, right? They're not all going to go into foreclosure, but the ones who do are really going to need our help. The fact that the competition is gone. So the people who are waiting there, the predators waiting in the wings, the vultures, they're gone. Our competition is gone. And we have all that pent-up demand because of all those months where they weren't able to be foreclosed on. We've got more motivated sellers than ever, more opportunity. Here's the good news, okay? So that's bad for the economy, good for us. Here's what's good for both. Buyer demand is at an all-time high. The real estate agents and high volume investors that I know are having trouble keeping up. People are buying houses like crazy. You might not know this if you believe real estate shut down, but I promise you, go to your, realtor.com, go to the MLS, go to Zillow, and look at all the solds. They're sold in March. They're sold in April. They're sold in May. They're selling right now all around you. The difference is they're not doing big open houses. Okay? So a lot of people aren't seeing it because you're having to call ahead and schedule an appointment, which means the hustlers, the ones who are trying to sell them the hardest, are succeeding. The ones who are used to just putting out a bunch of signs and somebody shows up or doesn't, whatever, they're gone. Which means the people that are left in the business are the people we want to work with anyway. Okay? So if you know how to sell houses, it's working better than ever. On top of that, interest rates have gone down. The average interest rate went from 3.5 down to 3.28 or something similar. Doesn't sound like a big difference, but what it means is that people can now buy like 10% more house. Because remember, interest is just one of the costs of a house. So most people don't measure how much they can buy of house in raw dollars, okay? In other words, they measure it by what's their monthly payment going to be. So when interest rates go down, they can buy a lot of house. So that makes your house, whatever it is, more affordable, which means more people can buy it, which means demand is at an all-time high. So we've got more buyers who can borrow more money. Top that off with the government is doing everything they can to pump more money into the real estate industry. Why? It's the only good bet they've got. The United States government runs FHA, Fannie Mae, FHA, VA, and the USDA 100%. Those are government-backed entities. Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, are 50% government industries. That means the government has their fingers into 90% of all home loans right now. All right? 90%. So they're pumping money into the mortgage industry, and by doing that, they're making it so our buyers can buy houses with $500 down, 3.5% down, government grant down payments, super low interest rates, low PMI. If you don't know what that is, good for you. It means you have good credit. Okay, if you don't have good credit, you end up putting smaller amounts down, you get PMI. It's an added fee you have to pay. Okay, our buyers can buy more house than they could before. This is inflating the values of houses massively. It's lowering inventory. There's less houses for sale for them to buy, largely because us-ins, the ethical investors, haven't been able to get in there and help out the motivated sellers. We can now, okay? So, between the other thing that's happening is the government loan programs are getting better. The municipal grants, where the city will lend your people the down payments. The county and state grants are humongous. And on top of that, they're doing purchase and rehab loans, which means the houses don't have to be in good shape before you sell them to owner occupants. The owner occupants can now borrow all the money they need to buy them and all the money they need to fix them. What does this mean? It means you've got 2, 3, or 4 times as many potential buyers for your houses once they're ready to be sold. Okay? 2 to 4 times, 2, 3, or 4, depending on where you are in the country. More buyers who can more easily borrow more money. It's a pressure cooker. It's demand. It's pent-up demand. And remember this. If they wanted to buy a house in February and didn't get it done by the end of February, they couldn't in March. If they wanted to in March, they couldn't. April, couldn't. May, couldn't. Or they could, but it was an uphill battle. Not everybody wants to fight an uphill battle, okay? So all that demand is now coming into the market, and here's what's amazing. Our competition is out of business. We're going into the summer selling season, and we've got 2 to 4 times as much inventory to pick from. So now we can go in, help motivated sellers, and connect them with the motivated buyers at an unprecedented rate. I have never seen it happen so easily to sell houses to owner occupants. It used to be a project. You had to get a contractor, you had to get the repairs done, you had to do all this. 3/4 of the houses we're working on now need no or very little work. The motivated sellers got to sell them whether they need repairs or not, okay? So all of that adds up to foreclosures are off the charts. The market is ripe for investors like us to go in and make a boatload of money. The prospects for real estate are really, really positive. But if you know me, I don't pretend to have a crystal ball. I know that right now, the demand is higher than the inventory. Could that change? Well, if 4 million people suddenly go into foreclosure, isn't that going to change? Yes. If you made a bunch of money right now, in the next, I'd say 3 to 6 months, maybe even the rest of this year, okay? Then when that does change, you're ready for that too, Okay, so that's the whole point, is you got to do what the market wants you to do. And right now the market is paying for solutions. They need people who can take the houses from people who can no longer afford them and get them into the hands of the people who can. Okay, that's us, ethical investors. We help people who are having a hard time, and we help a buyer who wants in, and we match those two together using other people's money. It's a beautiful thing, and it's working right now. So listen, if you want to know how to do this, if you want to know how to save people from foreclosure, how to be an ethical investor who actually helps people get out of problems, right? You don't just wait for blood to be in the streets. Like, that doesn't sound good to me, okay? I don't want blood in the streets. I'd like my kids to be able to, like, ride their bike in the street, right? Anyway, I'm not into, all of that stuff. I'm into helping people and getting paid a lot to do it. If you understand how to help people and get paid a lot to do it, great. If you would like to understand, then I've got a DVD that I'd love to send you absolutely free. I've got a video about everything you're going to learn on that DVD. You can check it out. I'll put the link in the below this video. If you're watching it live, go ahead and check back in just a minute, and I'll put it under there. It's a big, long link. I don't have it. I mean, if I just said it to you, it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link in there, and you can just go ahead and click that. Grab that free DVD. It'll show you exactly what we do and how we do it to take people from point A, fix the problem, sell the house, help them out of foreclosure, help them maintain or increase their credit, help them get some of their equity out of the property so they have enough to restart. And we have a lot of sellers right now who know the writing's on the wall. Things can't stay the same as they have been for the last few months, and they're extremely motivated. So if you're ready for it, this is going to be the biggest boom that I've ever seen for private investors. 2008, most of us were locked out of most of the deals because they were backroom deals. They were, the JP Morgan Chase of the financial world, buying houses for 20 cents on the dollar and stuff like that in backroom billion-dollar deals where they got a floated loan from the federal government and stuff like that. We were locked out. We were there to pick up the leftovers and help out the homeowners we could help out before it got to that. Well, guess what? Now they're locked out. Now turnabout is fair play. We did great in that market, and we're doing even better now. If you want to get on that, make sure you grab that DVD. I'll make sure to put the link in as soon as this video goes up on the Facebook page. Until then, guys, thanks very much for watching. And if you have any questions, just hit me up on the Facebook page, and I'll go ahead and answer your questions to the best of my ability. And until then, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.